Since 2014, when they first attacked us, we have been in dozens, maybe hundreds of ceasefire agreements with Russia. And we know for a fact that they will break their part. And the main issue is there was no one to complain to about it because everybody was just taking it as a new normal. So what we need to know is how is this time going to be different?
Kira Rudik, thank you very much for your time. This is the first time that someone has got Vladimir Putin in a room to talk peace. Does it feel like a positive day for you, though?
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. You see, up till this moment, there has not been any single fact that would imply that Putin wants peace. It all has been an illusion in President Trump's idea that Putin perhaps wants peace, but for some reason keeps killing Ukrainians and attacking peaceful cities. So we have a very small amount of hope that the meeting in Alaska will make a significant change. What we hope may happen is that finally President Trump will lose his patience with Putin, who keeps publicly humiliating Trump. And right now he, for some reason, is even invited onto American soil to continue doing what he's doing.
You hope that this meeting might therefore, as you see it, lift the mask on Vladimir Putin and his intentions. How likely do you think it is that they have this meeting and actually it, I suppose, derails any attempt Donald Trump has to have a peace process and forces him to, well, back Ukraine more forcefully?
It seems right now that it will be very hard, if not impossible, for President Trump to back off from his intention to bring peace to Ukraine. He is actively trying to do so. He has announced it so many times, and it will be impossible to swipe under the rugs and hope that it will somehow go away, especially given that we are getting ready to the Nobel Peace Prize Commission making its decision and accepting applicants. And we know that it has been President Trump's dream to get into the history as a peacemaker. However, let's again look that Ukraine, as of right now, has done everything that President Trump asked of us. We have agreed to a ceasefire unconditionally. We have voted and ratified in Ukrainian parliament the rare minerals deal that is giving the United States interest in our economy and future. President Trump has seen that, but it didn't change his mind. Putin didn't do anything. He didn't move anywhere from his original stance. So it gives us a very narrow option for peace. But it is not only Ukraine who is watching and not only Russia who is watching. The problem here is that the whole world is paying attention, and especially authoritarian regimes who are seeing how Putin is trying out American attempts to bring peace and the value of President Trump's peace through strength attempt.
We still seem to be a long way off peace, a lasting peace, but it seems like a ceasefire, a pause to fighting might be more acceptable. Would you be able to accept a deal where there's a ceasefire, there's a pause along the front line that doesn't give away official sovereignty, but does accept Russian occupation of Ukrainian land?
The main question today and always remains the following: who or what will make sure that Russia would not attack us again? And if there is any agreement, that they would actually keep their part of the deal. You see, since 2014, when they first attacked us, we have been in dozens, maybe hundreds of ceasefire agreements with Russia. And we know for a fact that they will break their part. And the main issue is there was no one to complain to about it because everybody was just taking it as a new normal. So what we need to know is how is this time going to be different? Because previous attempts to have a frozen conflict, ceasefire with Russia, only led to Russia accumulating more forces and attacking us as a full-scale invasion. So the danger that we are facing right now is that this time Putin perhaps may want a pause, a lifting of the sanctions to kind of revive of Russian economy, and then he will not ever give up the attempts to destroy Ukraine, as he made the statement that he made publicly many, many times.
And you're an influential opposition leader within the Ukrainian parliament. Have you been consulted about various potential peace plans by your government or by other governments?
Unfortunately, President Zelensky is making the decisions within his team. But what I can tell you is that as of right now, there is no peace deal on the table that we can actually discuss. What we have heard is potential plans by President Trump. We have heard some statements by Marco Rubio. We have heard the position of our European partners. However, there is no peace plan to discuss or peace deal that we would need to discuss what to do with. As of right now, it was all again in President Trump's ideas rather than reality. And if you look at all of it from Russia perspective, which I hate to do, but still, for them, nothing changed over the last 3.5 years. They are going with their plan. Different European leaders and American leaders are making some statements that are basically just words, and they continue doing what they're doing. Their economy is still surviving. They are able to get more and more people to use as a battlefield meat, and they perhaps are capable to continue the war. They, unfortunately, are able to overpass sanctions and continue manufacturing missiles, drones with their allies, Iran, North Korea, and China, and they can do it for a long time, that we think.
One of the ideas that Donald Trump has had, he said that if this meeting in Alaska goes well, he'd like to facilitate a meeting between President Zelensky and President Putin, the man who's ordered the invasion of your country and overseen it for the last, since 2014 at least, as well as since 2022. Would you support President Zelensky meeting Vladimir Putin? Should he be there shaking his hand?
Well, he shouldn't be shaking his hand for sure, because the man is an internationally acknowledged criminal, and International Criminal Court has ordered an order for his arrest. But he should show up if President Trump will set up this meeting, because it is very important for us not to allow American president to say once again that it's Ukraine's fault and Ukraine doesn't want peace. We have gone through this process, and it was a painful process, explaining that we are actually victims and not, and that the aggressor is holding whole responsibility for continuing the war, and that it would be very easy to end the war if Russia stopped attacking us. If we stop fighting, there will be no Ukraine. If Russia stops fighting, there will be no war. And we have seen many attempts of Russia and President Trump himself to kind of throw the ball on our court and say, it's Ukraine that doesn't want peace. Well, that's it. We cannot allow that to happen. I think we have a very strong position, especially that we are not alone, that European leaders are standing with us, that Europe cannot have its future decided without it. And I think they made it very clear to President Trump, so he perhaps may be more cautious in his attempts to say, oh, we will decide everything behind the closed doors, and then we will tell you what we have decided, and it will be out to Europe and Ukraine to deal with it moving forward. It is important to mention also that Ukraine is not Russia, and you cannot go out in Ukraine or even being a president and say, this is what we have decided. We have a massive army, and we have the majority of people who have lost someone at the front line or who has somebody fighting at the front line. So we already paid an ultimate price. And these are the same people who declined to capitulate in 2022 and who made sure that we continue fighting. And it will be impossible to go out and say, President of the United States and Russian dictator decided that this is your fate. No. This will not go along, and I think that President Zelensky understands it very well because he lives here. And unfortunately, President Trump does not understand it because he never came to Ukraine, which we have numerous times invited him to do, to look people in the eye, to see what Russia has done, to understand that this fight for us is critical because we are fighting for our survival, our ability to define our own future, and to the fact that our children wouldn't have to fight this war. So these are our goals, and they are very simple.
And just finally, Kira Rudik, we have spoken to you many times as a politician, as an influential opposition leader. In the UK, we look at the tactics diplomatically on the battlefield, we look at the big strategic side of it. However sympathetic British people are with Ukraine's plight, just describe to us, how does it feel as a Ukrainian citizen, as one of millions of people in Ukraine, to have your country's future bargained by two foreign leaders?
It feels very much like in 2022, when we have received many calls from different friends and intelligence members from respectful agencies who said that Putin is going to attack and we are not going to last for more than 2 or 3 days. And that we should evacuate and probably establish a government in exile, and that he is much stronger and that we will definitely fall down. You look at it, you don't like it, you think that it is very unfair to live at the historical time like this, and you would never choose this for you and your family. But then you're looking at people surrounding you, and you know that if the whole world is against you, you still have someone behind your back, and that you have many things that you can do yourself, and that you should concentrate on it, because this is how you move forward. I receive so many calls from the front line. I receive so many calls from people throughout Ukraine about what's going to happen in Alaska. And everybody's worried. And I keep telling them that whatever they decide or discuss there doesn't change simple facts that today we have to fight, that our soldiers need support and they need additional ammunition, and that we should concentrate on the tasks that we have in hand. And we understand that if something that will be decided will be not the will of Ukrainian people, we'll just simply not go ahead with it. We have proven to the whole world that we are a sovereign, democratic, independent nation. We need people's help, but we also would not allow our fate decided by someone who are not us. We didn't allow it to Russian president, and we will not allow it to American president. Our future will be decided by Ukrainian people.
Kira Rudik, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and glory to Ukraine.